And now, another episode of MMA Gossip with your boys.
All right, everybody, we are live. MMA Gossip, episode number 65. And the champ is back in the house. We have Elise Reed, who will be defending her strawweight belt at CFFC 97, right? 97 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We also have her manager, Kale, the big businessman himself. Kale Brusso has been spoken about on the podcast many times. But like we said, CFFC 97, it's going down. Strawweight title on the line versus Hilary Rose. And we talked a little bit before the podcast, but Elise, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, we have less than 2 weeks. We're still training. I mean, the weight's good. The training's going great. We're Mr. K and I are very excited. Kale is very excited for what we're gonna bring May 29th. It's gonna be some good stuff.
Yeah, for anyone who just obviously you guys are just seeing this, but Elise literally just took her gi off 5 minutes before this episode. So she probably did it just for her manager to show him that he's training, but
yeah. I'm in my office.
Fair enough.
Nice.
This is my office. Hopefully will be upgraded eventually. It's currently my kitchen table.
Too crazy.
Kale, what's up, man? How are you?
Chilling, boys. Chilling in a Rutter's parking lot. Happy to be on. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. So what's your guys' week like? Elise, I'm sure you're probably mid-training, getting ready to go to Philly. And Kale, what do you have going on?
Elise, I'll let you answer first if you want.
Yeah.
How's your week going?
So I'm currently at the school. So I was at the school on Monday. I'm at the school today. I'll be at the school on Friday. I have training this evening. I have training tomorrow. I have training on Saturday. I have a tournament on Saturday that I'm running as well. And then I have training on Sunday. I want to say probably the next Monday, but we're having training every single day. The nice thing is that I'm sitting really comfortably where I'm at. So that means that I don't need to do anything crazy in terms of weight wise. I can hit it hard the entire time. So I think that's something that I am grateful of, because a lot of people, if they have, a huge weight cut, they have to stop, probably 2 weeks out, and we just keep drilling and drilling and drilling. So no, I worked out this morning. I got another hour and a half this evening. And in between, I'm doing my whole, Taekwondo side hustle, running a business type thing going on.
I need to get down there with you. Then I could lose about 10 pounds before summer. So I might stop by the gym.
Damn, good for you. So what's nutrition like? Are you I know you're relatively close to your weight almost all the time, talking about your weight class. So you doing any nutritional things different leading up?
So I've stepped it up a little bit. Obviously, I came up initially, my first fight was an atomweight fight. And since then I have put on some mass to stay at 115. Cause once you take the title, you gotta be there for a little bit longer. So I the biggest difference that I've done this fight camp is tracking my macros. And, that's probably a basic for most, but at least people that are doing MMA, but I had never really had an issue with it. And in order to keep weight up and make sure that I'm feeling good, I'm just making sure that I'm hitting, my macros, my proteins, carbs, and fats. But outside of that, I don't think there's going to be any huge change until probably a few days before. Probably the week of is where we're gonna start doing other things to just make the water drop off. But no, I'm sitting pretty.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So, Kale, what you got going on? What's your week looking like?
Yeah, so I mean, as she alluded to, a lot of the hard stuff's over with. The medicals are over with. So right now, it's just a lot of business background on my end, setting up podcasts like this. We did the Cage Side show earlier this week and stuff, and we got the T-shirt store up and going. So just taking care of the stuff that Elise doesn't want to deal with. So that's my job. I'm just trying to make it easier for her and make sure that she's fully mentally prepared, physically prepared, and she doesn't have to worry about any of this back end stuff. So That's what I'm doing.
Plug the T-shirts. I bought a couple. I bought 2. I sent my dad the links. I know he's gonna get one too. I know Mike got one. Matt got one.
I got 2.
You got 2. Yeah, we all got them. So we'll put that in the bio of the YouTube thing too. I hope that works. We're still rookies with YouTube. This whole YouTube thing is way over my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so with the T-shirts, the crazy thing is they're really based off of my pro debut shirt, and then the last 2 fights we kind of slipped a little bit, and it just got too late to order them. So I have designed the T-shirts. So not only are you supporting me, but you're also saying that I am pretty good designer. You can put that on my resume as well. But no, MMA Tico, real quick, really quick, because we had a lot of back and forth this past weekend. And I know Kale probably got tired of my text. He's always trying to get me to answer in a call, and then within 48 hours during the weekend, I was hitting them back the whole time. But they're very responsive. Obviously, I'm happy with the shirt, and again, people are buying shirts, which is great. At the arena, there's going to be a huge amount of people. I mean, it is going to be so loud. I feel bad for everybody else that has to fight there because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Get your tickets now. They're selling out quick. So, but Elise, I was telling the guys before you got on, like, I learned so much about you in the last week and a half, just watching interviews and stuff. So they're asking me, what are good questions to ask Elise and stuff. And I was like, well, I didn't know that you served the tour, that you were in Kuwait and Iraq. I didn't know that you like small metal crafts. I didn't know that you were a snitch for your little sister when you were growing up. So I was just like, there's so much about Elise that the world doesn't know. So maybe you can, go into telling us some of your hobbies, what you do when you're not fighting.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, the crazy thing is as much as fighting is a huge part of this whole thing, right? All of it is surmised from all of my experiences that I've had. So yeah, so I was very militaristic as a kid to the point where I ran my sister. I told my mom what to do for my sister. So there are many times where I'd say, "Hey mom, she can't stay out late. Make sure that you pick her up on time, or her friend's lying to you and you gotta pick her up from the dance." I've stolen her blanket a few times. I mean, I was the absolute worst. But no, I would say I have a very cultured background. Not just martial arts. I do like metal crafts. It's probably the nerdy part of it. But no, it's great. I am open to any and all questions. Absolutely.
I'm the opposite. So when I was younger, I'm the older brother, but my sister, she was like the tattletale, and I'd do something that was not supposed to be doing. I'd be like, "Oh, shut up. And she would pick up the phone. Like, I'm calling dad. I'd be like, "No, I'll give you $5. Whatever it was, whatever she wanted, she knew how to get it. She had her.
I have a funny story about Chris that shows how hard he was on his younger sister, Alana. So we always used to play beach volleyball. Like, we always played beach volleyball. Chris had one of us like hit the ball really high to Alana and ran under the net and speared her. And I was just like, damn, like, laid her out. That's how hard of a brother Chris was.
This is also over a decade ago. So
over a decade ago.
That. Yeah, I don't do that now. Now I'm the big brother, so I got to look out for her, obviously.
Alana's a champ.
Yeah, she is awesome.
So there was a time when Marina and I were at ends most of our childhood. Most of our childhood, she didn't like me, and I thought she was like this brat. She's very nice right now, doctorate in pharmacy. I can't say enough about her. I love her to death. But there was one time where I was cutting the hedges with my dad's hedge trimmer, and it was electric. And of course, before you even start it, my dad goes, "Okay, the only thing I care about is you don't cut the wire," right? Of course, he prefaces with, "Don't cut the wire." So I'm feeling all good or whatever. And of course, trimming the hedges, I cut the electrical wire and it turns off. And I knew, because my sister and I are very different, my dad raised me kind of like a son. I knew that if I came up to him, he would be livid. It would ruin the day for everybody and no good, right? So he's doing some yard work or whatever somewhere else. This was when Wookie and Marina and I were on good terms. And so I go up to Marina and I said, "Hey," I said, I know you know how to cry on cue. Okay, I know you do, because I've seen it happen. She used to get me in trouble all the time by doing stuff like that, right? I know you know how to cry on cue. I said, "Go to dad, give him the wire, tell him I'm really upset, make sure that you're crying and everything will be okay." And she, was like, no. Eventually she did, crying and all, going up to dad. He was like, "Oh, it's okay, no worries." I was not in trouble at all. I should have just done that the whole time I was growing up, because I would get like, it would change the day. But no, with Wookie, with Marina, it was like, no, she's crying and it's all good. So there was one instance where she did help me out. And I don't know if dad knows that I cut the wire.
Now he does.
Maybe we want to make sure that he doesn't see it.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't lift his.
What do Sorry, Chris.
No, I said hopefully your dad doesn't listen to this episode because but Wookie, before I sorry to interrupt you, Kale. Wookie. So wait, we have Wookie and Rufus. Are you still Rufus, by the way? Are you using that?
I want it to stick naturally, so I'm not gonna push it either way. It was definitely a nickname that stuck naturally in college, and if it becomes something that fighting wise it happens again, I'm more than happy. It's still my Instagram handle because I still want to do, a little shout out to being my water polo and my team and all that. But yeah, I slipped a few times, right? So Wook is Marina's nickname, and it's because my dad said that she was wooking around, like looking around as a baby. So I call her Wookie or Wook. She probably doesn't like that I'm saying that either, but her name is Marina, but it just comes out Wookie. And then really my nickname is Lee in terms of the family, but Rufus is solid. That's a solid name.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth with Elise's nickname. I know Coach or Mr. K is not huge on Rufus. We've discussed the captain. We've discussed Elise the Beast. So there's a lot of names floating around that we're just waiting for Elise to stamp her approval on. But like I told her, keep it authentic. If there's a story behind it, be you.
You should use them all like your first opponent did. Was it like Carnage, Rampage, like something absurd like that? They announced it. I was like, what? Oh, I watched that back. I was like, oh my God.
Well, that's the reason why so again, if you want to put a poll up after this and figure out what it is, it's completely fine by me. Mr. K doesn't like Rufus because it has to do with BMI, and I was pretty much in prison, at least from his perspective. So I think it's like it hurts his heart that I'm going to refer to that the whole time. However, all of my college friends call me Rufus, and obviously my Instagram handle is Rufus, and so is my Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I'm down for whatever. Elise the Beast, it's all good.
I got a question for you because you just said college again. I know you played water polo. So I was like, I want to ask you something about water polo. So I just typed in water polo news on Google. And this weekend, the USC women's team won 18-9 to beat UCLA. And supposedly that's like the most goals that's ever been scored in women's water polo. Is 18 a lot?
It is. It's definitely not the most because I'm pretty sure our first season we lost by like 23-2. Or we beat somebody 23-2, so it's definitely not the most. I'm sure depending on, I know that the MAC championships were just played about 2 weekends ago, which is what our conference was. So my bet is that's like NCAA Final Four, NCAA championship was probably a lot. But 18 is a lot. It's kind of like, it's similar to soccer where you score anything more than like 5 per team, it's like unheard of. If it's 18, someone got their butt kicked a little bit, especially if we're talking, NCAA playoffs and whatnot. That was a rough night for him.
Yeah, 18-9 apparently over UCLA. So rough outing for UCLA. But
playing in California is like the best part. So obviously in Virginia, our pools were shallow and deep on one side. In California, a lot of them are open and they're all deep, and some of them are even saltwater. It's the best. So we would play for spring break, and it would be like a vacation because we're pretty much tanning in the water. It was amazing. Jeez. So I'm sure they had a great pool in terms of UCLA.
That's amazing. How does that work? Shouldn't it be like the same all around? Or is that like, I guess like the cage sometimes is smaller in certain venues? I guess it doesn't really matter. I was comparing something to MMA. It always just makes more sense to me. That's probably why I said UFC instead of USC.
Yeah, no, you see it a lot with the East Coast pools, and I think part of it is because you got diving and swimming. You don't necessarily need a deep water pool. So that's where you'll see a lot of the deep ends. Like it's crazy because sometimes when we're talking the East Coast, right, one end is shallow and the other end is deep, and so the goalies are on either side, and one is standing and the other person isn't, and it's treading water. So it can get a little crazy, but normally it's open water for California, at least. Jeez. West Coast.
Elise, I gotta ask you a question.
Okay.
How does it feel to know that you walk into a room full of people and you know without a doubt that you could single-handedly destroy any one of them without breaking a sweat?
I know for a fact that I don't look anything like that. I remember I went for a physical recently and the doctor's like, oh, like you're the fighter? And I said, yes. And he did not expect me. So I mean, it's nice. I wouldn't say that I could like beat everybody up. Like I go straight like Bruce Lee on everybody. But it's nice. It definitely, gives me a little bit of confidence walking around. It was funny because Mr. K came to my graduation. My dad said a similar thing. So we're at the bar, and the last night right before graduation, everybody just parties, right? Like there is no F's given. Everybody's just doing what they want. So Mr. K's having a good time, and my dad goes to one of my friends, and he's in a booth or whatever, and he goes, "Those two people are the most dangerous people at the bar." And he goes, he points to Mr. K, and he goes, "And that guy is the most dangerous guy in the bar." And of course, my dad had, enjoyed himself a little bit that evening as well. And he goes, "And I fought him." And I was like, "All right, Dad." So, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to have an understanding for sure. I mean, I don't think, I don't seek out any opportunity to beat anybody up. And I, of course, don't want anybody to think that I walk into the room and now I'm like thugging around. But no, it's nice. I can't complain.
No, I can't say I would do the same. I'd be so prideful. I'd wear that right on my sleeve. Be like, "Don't fuck with me," right on my sleeve, right on my shirt. But I want to talk really quick about the magnitude of this fight. Cause like last week, Dana White was at CFFC and he signed 2 fighters to the UFC and one of them to the Contender Series spot. And you're fighting a previous Contender Series fighter in Hilary. And I just think it's like, things are coming together for you, and this is such a huge opportunity. Like, do you see it as something that could really springboard your career way more than any of your previous bouts?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously looked for Hilary Rose for that very reason. We wanted her to fight one more time because we wanted to make sure that she was coming off a win, just for the title, really. I mean, in terms of fighting her, she'd be a great opponent either way, but we wanted to make sure that the CFFC title was something that had to be kind of earned a little bit. But no, obviously as a contender, she's somebody that we're interested in because, like you said, I haven't fought a contender yet. I did fight some decent prospects, right? Jasmine is being pulled up to the contender. So I don't think it was a conversation, and it was a little crazy of a conversation when we talked about Jasmine and fighting Jasmine initially, and then we defended it, and then still a conversation. And I think, this fighting a contender, being successful fighting a contender is definitely a way where I can get my name up there even faster. But on all honesty, every fight is like the first fight. And I kind of, as much as I'm the CFFC champion and have done some crazy things as 3-0, I go into every fight looking to earn that title back. So I don't go into it expecting anything or trying to defend my title. I'm looking to put on a show. And I think, that's my intent, is that after this fight that there's some conversations to be had. But the most I can do is put on a good show on May 29th. But yeah, no, it's a crazy experience. I was talking on Cage side about it. I mean, what 3-0 fighter has fought 4-0, 4-2 fighters that are top 20? Jillian was top 8 atomweight in the world. I mean, I'm 3-0, but I'm a pretty solid 3-0. So yeah, we're not playing around. I'm sure Kale knows it as well. We're not here to just start racking up wins against people that don't count. We want to get there because I've put in work already to get this title. It doesn't make sense to now fight people that aren't a step higher than that. So
we're not here to take part, guys.
I knew, dude. I was laughing. I saw your face when she said that. I knew you were going to say that, bro. But yeah, I saw your eyes also light up when Mike asked that question, Kale. Is it, I don't know if this is a behind the doors question, but is it for you? Is it more UFC or bust, or would you consider going back to Bellator again? I know because we had Phil Caracappa on, who also fights for CFFC, and he was totally dead set on UFC or bust. And I know your first professional fight was in Bellator, which is another awesome promotion. So, what do you guys feel about that? Is it UFC or bust? Is it Bellator? Would you consider anything else?
I think I'm at a point in my career where either organization would be a step closer. I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm having 10, 15 fights and now I have to start making it. Okay, so now I have to make a career right now. I definitely would like UFC. I know CFFC has a lot of people that are going up there. And I think it makes sense if I have beaten somebody that's going to be a contender to have that opportunity. but Bellator is a great organization. So I can't say no to either one. I'm again going to work on doing my best at CFFC and whatever opportunities come our way, Kale and I and Mr. K will have a conversation and make an adjustment there. But I think as much as Bellator is a great organization, obviously people know UFC. And even the UFC fighters who have made it to UFC can then go to Bellator. So I think I'm fortunate to where I'm early enough where I can teeter the line a little bit, as you said, since I've already been to Bellator and can come back. But we'll take opportunities. We'll take a look at them.
For sure. Yeah, as she said, obviously the UFC is the pinnacle. She's fought in Bellator. Dana White Contender Series is out there, but at the end of the day, we want that UFC contract for a multitude of reasons. We're not here to take part. Elise wants to take over the world. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And after this fight, there's going to be a lot of conversations that had and a lot of messages to go out, and we'll start from there. But May 29th, like as she said, it's a new journey every time she goes out there. So we're looking forward to it.
Cool, man. Yeah, May 29th and May 30th. Elise, what do you got going on May 30th? You busy?
Yeah. No. Well, so May 29th, fight, party hard a little bit. And then May 30th, I am going to California for some Army training, some Fort Hunter Liggett Army training. So no, I have a flight at 3:00 in the afternoon to California, and I will be there for 2 weeks. So it'll either be a great 2 weeks or miserable 2 weeks. But 2 weeks nonetheless. They already know that I might be a little bruised up, and
hopefully not.
Good thing is we're just doing office work, so it's not like I'm gonna be rolling around in the dirt and doing anything crazy. But yeah, I gotta get the Army stuff done so I can come back and teach and do a testing. So just like I'm at the school right now. There's no pause button here. It's from one to the next to the next. So yeah, Fort Hunter Liggett in May 30th to June 12th.
And then
you guys, sorry, Chris, but you guys always see I'm always using the hashtag with Elise, more than a fighter. I just feel like the world doesn't know her yet, but I mean, what individual fights and then 12 hours later turns around, flies across the country to do her military duties? There's so much more to her. And it's just my job to, promote that, and hopefully the world can see what we all see.
While designing T-shirts, don't forget.
Well, so I'm running a tournament this weekend. It's small. It's just for our school, right? Because everything's getting back up, and our kids haven't done a tournament for like the last year. So I designed the medals. I designed the poster. I'm putting the buy sheets together. I am somebody that does not like to stay idle, and yeah, you better watch out. I might be an MMA fighter, business owner, captain in the Army, and graphic designer. I don't know yet. We'll see.
We'll just come for all the belts.
You're a full-blown Renaissance woman. That's incredible. Good for you. Honestly, you're serving our country, number one. If you just did that, that's more than enough of a human being that I could ever be. And then you're doing all these things on top of it. Kudos to you.
Well,
Mike's being too humble, Elise. Don't let him fool you. I think, Mike, you have your purple belt, right?
Blue.
He's 3 or 4 stripe blue belt, so he could kick a lot of people's ass in the bar too. So he's being humble right now. I heard some stories from Chris from what arm triangles that he catches them in.
No, yeah, when you took the kid out of Dunkin' Donuts, Mike's.
Oh yeah, and what about your boyfriend? I heard I got the Kimura on his arm. I basically broke his arm by accident.
Yeah, his arm. Yeah, that was bad.
Mark, yeah.
So we're gonna have to hear the story right now. You got to tell me a story.
I want to hear it as well.
One here that you can share.
Every good story starts with booze, right? So we were all boozed up in Wildwood, of all places, and we went to the bars. This is years ago. Went to the bars. We're all boozed up. We're on the beach at like 3 a.m, and Mark, hammered, blacked out, doesn't remember. Mike, let's roll. We're on the beach. It's soft. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And then we're drunk. We're rolling. I get him in a Kimura, and I just keep going and waiting for him to tap. And I'm just, waiting. And then Mark is just so drunk he doesn't feel it, and he doesn't tap. And then he just and went too far. I was like, oh my God. And he couldn't move. I remember he couldn't move his arm for like 3 months. Felt so bad.
The next day he woke up and it felt. He was like, dude, my arm feels like someone hit me with a bat. And I was like, dude, basically. Tell him about Dunkin' Donuts, Mike.
Oh, okay. So Dunkin' Donuts, just broke up with my then girlfriend, so I was heated, and I was with my best friend Reed, and we're at Dunkin' Donuts again, boozed up, 3 a.m, and these two guys in front of me at the Dunkin' Donuts were like being such a dick to the guy behind the register, asking for like butter on their bagel, and the guy was like, "We don't have butter." First of all, I don't know why they have butter, but story continues. I was like, finally, I was like, order something else. They don't have butter, you asshole. And then he's like, he turns around, he goes, "What'd you say?" I was like, "I hate people like you." And I was an asshole. I spit right in his face, spit right back in my face. He comes at me. I get him in a guillotine. All of a sudden I hear, everyone's pulling us apart. Cops show up. I run out with Reed. My shirt's half ripped. I was like, all right, that's the exact therapy I needed after a hard breakup.
You put the kid out, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, I put him out, and my buddy Reed put the other kid out with an arm triangle.
So
Whatever you were feeling that night, they definitely went home feeling worse.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
So I have a little story. I have never been in an actual fight. Like, well, okay, MMA fights, right? But never like, yeah, right. I'm doing WWE, everybody. Never an actual fight. No. So never like a bar fight, right, or a street fight. But this is in the summer, this past summer. So we're at somebody's pool, having a good time, right, per usual. And I don't know what it is, but because I am who I am, and I'm like this fighter, all grown men like decide that it's time to like fight me, right? So one of the guys was really, really nice, but we're in the pool, and he goes, I had shown him a kick before, right? I did like a side kick, and he got hit in the belly, but it was under the water, so it wasn't hard, right? I was just kind of showing him. And so this is now the second time I'm at his place, and he goes, okay, you showed us the kick. Now, like, show us a chokehold. And I was like, okay, fine. So I get up, and again, we're in the pool, okay? So I get up, and I set the figure 4, and I squeeze it a little bit just so that he knows. And of course, I'm thinking, okay, he's fighting back a little bit, trying to resist. So I squeeze down a little bit tighter, and we dunk underwater. So now we're underwater, I'm squeezing, and I'm like, this guy is just, I thought he's just being like a jerk. I was like, this guy is trying to make me drown. So I let go, and I stand back up. He comes up maybe a second later. He's like, what happened? I was like, what do you mean what happened? I thought you were trying to be, he's like, no, I was out. I was like, thank goodness I let go, because I thought he was trying to be a jerk because I couldn't see. So that's the only person that I put out accidentally. It was with a figure 4, and I just thought he was trying to be a jerk about it and like tough, and he dropped, and I let go.
These casuals, they don't know what they're in for.
Well,
I'm glad
I wasn't even fighting him though. It was like I just trying to show him something, and I'm thinking like, oh, everybody wants to be tough, so let me squeeze a little harder, and yeah.
Don't hold back.
I'm glad you said that, Elise, because like I'm sure Chris and Mike have more friends than I do that say this stuff. Like I have friends that be like, oh, I would beat Rose Namajunas up, or I could just bum rush Valentina, and I'm like, they would kill you. Like it wouldn't even be close.
I know.
That's what literally people don't understand the difference in caliber. I don't care. A 115-pound fighter is an absolute beast and would beat 80% of the male population easily, probably 90. It's just like strength comes into play at some point, but they don't know what they're talking about.
I had a laugh at the meme you guys had of, would Conor McGregor beat John Jones in a fight? That you guys posted. Sorry, Elise, I cut you off.
No, you're good. When it starts with bum rush, you're probably not in the right spot. If you're gonna say like, I'm gonna bum rush you, okay, well, let's not accurate.
Go to plan B.
Yeah, seriously. But Elise, seriously, thank you again for doing this. We really appreciate your time.
No, of course, anytime. I can make time for anything.
Yeah, apparently I don't know how, but I do my day job. I'm going to jiu-jitsu, like I said, got my spats on. And I'm like, after that, I'm like, I'm done. My dog, I take him to the beach during the day. I bring a tennis racket. That's how lazy I am. I bring a tennis racket to hit the ball so I don't have to throw it because I just get so tired. And I'm like, all right, I paid my dues to you. When I get home from jiu-jitsu, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Chris is the ultimate dog dad.
Yeah,
he really is.
Right now. I heard you're a cat person, Elise. Someone told me.
I have a cat. My parents never wanted a dog. So I wouldn't say I'm like a cat person. Will I have a dog eventually? Yes. But right now I have a cat that is 16 years old and blind. And she's like on death's door. She survived for how long? And I don't know why, but she just keeps kicking. But yeah, no. So I have one cat, and she's just an old lady. It's just like taking care of a child.
One of my friends is a Cocker Spaniel that is 16 years old that walks around with a diaper on.
I have put a diaper on my cat plenty of times.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But seriously, Elise and Kale, thank you both so much. If you guys want to do, any shout outs for the fight, where we could get tickets, the t-shirts, the whole nine, floor is yours.
So one, thank you to MMA Gossip for having me and sponsoring me. Obviously, these fights are amazing, and we're only as good as the people that can support us. So shout out to you guys, one, for having me on and letting me, talk about all my crazy stories, but also giving me some help for this fight. I can't say it enough. You've been great individuals. So that's one. Kickside, Kale, that's kind of our team, our family. In terms of tickets, CFFC.tv, there are only like 4 tables left. So if anybody wants to come down and hang out with me in Philly on May 29th, only for May 29th, they'll be gone on the 30th. But yeah, that'll be CFFC.tv, and then MMATco.com is where the shirts are, and that's it. Kale, you got anything?
Yeah, building off that. Thank you guys. You guys are my boys. Love you guys. Known you for a while. The MMA Tco link, it's in my bio. I don't think I have the CFFC ticket link in my bio anymore, but I say it all the time, guys. Elise is so much more than a fighter. If I don't manage another fighter for the rest of my career, I'm grateful that I had somebody that's, a blue collar individual, an entrepreneur, and someone that kicks ass. So I'm thankful for that. And tune in May 29th to see the journey. And she's much more of a fighter, and we look forward to spreading the word. And thank you, boys. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. At least get back to one of the 30 things you have going on, and we'll be watching.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Got to make sure I don't get loitering in this Rudders parking lot. So thanks, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. Be well.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right. We're still live. Matt should be hopping in any moment. Chris, you still hear me?
Yes, I do. What's going on, brother?
No, that was awesome. It's awesome to have Elise on. I'm so stoked for her fight. I'm just so excited for her, and I'm excited, obviously, selfishly excited to see our logo on our shirt, walking out for a title defense at CFFC, a very well-established organization. It's awesome. We're in a good place. We're in a good place. Elise is in a good place. Kale's in a good place.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Shout out to Kale. I'm sure he'll be watching this episode. Elise will be watching. Thank you guys both for your time. Kale is awesome as always. He's super accommodating. Literally pulled over on the side of the road to do this interview with us. He's the one that hooked us up with Elise to begin with. Elise, thank you for your service. And the 50 hats that she wears is incredible. But yeah, the fight world never stops, and neither do we. So because we got some UFC fights this weekend that we got to talk about. I don't know where Matt is. Where MMA Gossip is down to 2, but the train keeps rolling, bro.
Keeps rolling. Let's talk real quick about that insane main event. So, real quick recap: Michael Chandler comes out there, kind of gives his back up, pretty much, kind of a mistake on his part, but Charles Oliveira takes his back, doesn't do anything with it. Chandler explodes like the athlete that he is, gets out, clips him, hurts him, and finishes the round on top. I don't know why 2 of the judges gave it a 10-8. I think that's a little bit too harsh. I think it should have been a 10-9, but nonetheless, Charles Oliveira comes out in the second round and absolutely starches him in about 9 or 10 seconds. So what did you think when you saw, tell me your live reaction as it's happening from the moment that Charles Oliveira got clipped all the way to the moment that Michael Chandler got TKO'd.
Me and Kale watched the fight together, and it was madness from beginning to end. Like, we're on the edge of our seats, obviously. A main event like that is so wild, in our brain. Nothing happened yet. A punch hasn't been thrown. They're announcing the names, and we're going crazy. Kale's going crazy. I'm going crazy. Kale's friends are here. It was just awesome time. Anyway, bell rings. They come out. They meet right in the center, which was awesome. Michael Chandler prods out like he always does. Oliveira meets him right in the middle. Chandler does a couple punches. Then he jumped for that guillotine. Looked tight. I was like, imagine this is Charles Oliveira makes it to his belt. It's just kind of his MO. Like I always said, the old Charles Oliveira got guillotined by people he shouldn't, such as Anthony Pettis. Anyway, Chandler, raise your hand if you thought when Chandler got his back taken, the fight was over.
I said out loud, this fight's over.
I certainly did. And Kale did. Everyone here was going crazy. Chandler got out, and I was like, oh, man, like that's just a testament to Chandler. That's a humongous win for Chandler. Chandler drops him, hurts him, and I said, it's over. I pulled the Joe Rogan. I said it's over like 3 times. I think Michael Chandler was one.
Chris, me and you said that when he was bobbing his head. 1 punch away, and he would be like, all right.
Yeah, I think that would have been it, man. It was real freaking close. Michael Chandler, like that's as close as you can get to winning the belt and not winning it. And one thing that I had said on the previous episode was I want to see if Michael Chandler could hang with the Sharks, in the UFC, and he fucking definitely can because he was seconds away from being the UFC champion. He knocked out Dan Hooker in a minute and a half, and like Habib said it famously. He's like, you could be 29-0 in this sport, and they say, oh, you got to beat this guy, but what if he fought this guy? But what if just give him the respect. You saw what he's got. He's right up there, and I'm sure it almost seems like it's a given that his next fight is going to be Gaethje at this point. So who else has your first 3 fights in the UFC are Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, and fucking Justin Gaethje? Good Lord. But
Matt, so the question I asked Chris as you were hopping on is, tell me your live reaction from the moment that Charles got clipped all the way to the moment that he won.
Well, he won. I woke up everybody in my house, and I wasn't even inside my house. I was in the backyard watching it. I went fucking crazy, dude. I was so happy, and it was so fast, right? Like, it was immediately came out like a buzzsaw in the second round after I thought the opposite was going to happen, and Chandler was going to come out and just put it on him and end the fight. But, yeah, when Chandler was hurting on him, though, I was sitting there like, Jesus Christ, at least I bet the under.
Mike, what you said you noticed something in Chandler's corner that
I was gonna ask that.
So hear me out on this. I was thinking about this a lot. So think about this, how discouraging it is when you let's say you guys obviously both compete jiu-jitsu. Let's say you are going up with a guy and you are so close to tapping him, but then the time runs out and he fights off for like a good minute and he fights off. And then you have to know that next time you roll with him, he has that, I wouldn't say one up on you, but he's also got that whole yeah, you didn't get me and I'm coming back to get you kind of thing. So when Chandler went back to his corner, I saw a look of discouragement on his face. Like, damn, I almost won the belt. My life almost changed. He looked a little bit tired. Like he kind of blew his load in that first round. And then Oliveira goes back to his corner. He has a full minute to recover. He goes, all right, I just took his hardest shot. And I'm going to come out in the second round knowing that I can take his shot and I'm coming back at hard to show him what I got. So I felt like even though that Chandler won that round and I thought the momentum was 100% in Charles Oliveira's favor going into that second round. And it proved to be true, man, because it only took 8 seconds for him to hit him with that check left hook. And then the fight was pretty much over soon, right after that. So I just thought that when he went back to his corner, he looked so discouraged to the point where it's like, you getting back on that horse, it was harder for him than Oliveira, who was clipped and hurt and almost lost. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. That's what I thought you meant when you said it.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling in the moment. Then it happened. I was like, damn, bro. Speaking of which, got tapped my own horn. I tweeted out, I said Oliveira is going to win by check left hook, and that's exactly what happened. So I was pumped about that.
How's this main event ending, Mike? Let's hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
UFC Fight Night, May 20.
It's a dope card, It's a dope card.
Yeah, it's got its a couple of golden fights.
Like your favorite fighters on this card, dude.
Halim Paiva.
Dude, like our first ever podcast episode, and here we are, boys. Cheers, 65 deep.
65 deep. So okay, Matt.
Medeiros is on this card.
Who?
Medeiros.
Oh yeah, he's young. He's only 33.
Jesus. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Anyway, okay. So Matt, I don't know when I texted you. What was this, probably Sunday? I said, Fon's gonna flatline him, right? So I was thinking about it. Obviously, I reserve my right to change my opinion, but I'm not going to change it entirely. So what I was thinking about is, like me and Chris were saying a few times before, it kind of seems like the narrative's out, like Fon's going to clip him, right? I mean, I feel like that's what the momentum's in Fon's favor. He just beat Marlon Reich and Cardi Garbrandt. Yeah, he won over a Sunset, but I don't think that's as impressive. But I think that there's a good chance that this fight's going 5 rounds. I have a weird feeling that it's going to go 5 rounds, and I have a weird feeling that
is a weird feeling. I would never guess that ever.
Yeah, I already put a bet in for the over 2.5. It was plus 100. I think it's a solid bet. And I just think that Cody
Mike,
is
I
going to
think
come
your
out.
best bet, not only to interrupt you, just for money purposes, bet the fight to go to the distance. The odds on that are probably fucking crazy.
Yeah, they probably are. Yeah, you're right. But I mean, keeping it safe at 2.5. Speaking of which, all our bets are posted. I got to put that link in our bio. But I think that is a good chance that Garbrandt might, be super reserved and go for some takedowns, man. I really don't understand why he wouldn't. I know that he doesn't go for takedowns ever, but hey, what happened when Chukagian was going up against Antonina Shevchenko? Takedowns. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the path is there.
We've seen him shoot before. He shot on Dominic Cruz a couple times, landed a few, but I think he does it to score points. He kind of just gets right back up.
I don't think Garbrandt really does anything just to score points.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I still lean Font to finally, eventually, because Font's stand-up is retardedly good. Like, people don't give him enough credit. Like, I still think he's eventually going to find Cody's chin, but I don't know. I have a weird feeling about this fight. I think that everyone's on Font and no one's giving Cody the credit. And we all know that Cody is as elite gets. It's a matter of, can he keep his cool? Can his chin remain intact? And can he get some takedowns? Because if it stays on the feet, it's going to be competitive the whole time until he gets clipped. So we'll see. Matt, why are you so confident in Cody other than the fact that you want to suck his dick?
Because I think you're kind of taking out the whole part of him switching camps. And I think even though Sunsau's been losing, he hasn't been the Sunsau of old. He still looked great. He was still winning that fight at every second up until that point. He still put his fucking lights out. Like, to say that, Rob's going to find his chin. You could say the same for Cody. Cody finds everybody's chin, dude. And he hits drastically harder, in my opinion. Cody fucking cracks. And, Font definitely has the range on him. Cody's going to have to find his way inside to land some shots, but that's what he does, man. He's got really, really good boxing. And as long as he keeps that hand high when he's throwing, which against the Sunsau he was doing, and there's no bad blood between him and Font, really. There's not like he's fighting TJ. He's not fighting Dominic Cruz. There's no reason for him to lose his cool and get all pissed off in there. Like, I think his head's in the right spot. Again, I think the change at camp for him has been huge. Obviously, we haven't seen enough of him, but I definitely think Font can win this fight. I'm not 100%, Cody's going to win. He's not going to be, he won't even be one of my picks this weekend, let alone a lock. I'm not confident at all. I'm just a big fan, and I'm not willing to write him off yet just because he lost bad to a guy that was on fucking steroids who proved to be a loser.
That was shots fired, dude.
Fired.
I'll remember that, motherfucker. But I was thinking about it, and what Mike had said, and the narrative is always going to find his chin. I just, whenever these fights like this come up, I start to watch their past fights. So I watched a bunch of Rob Font's past couple fights. I watched Cody's past few fights. And when the Sunsau fight came on, Cormier and Rogan were talking about all the narrative of the first round was just Cody's chin. Like, was it gone or not, basically? And I was like, it seems weird. Like, I get it. He lost 3 in a row, granted by knockout, but Sunsau landed a nice shot, and Daniel Cormier goes, "Oh, he took that one a lot better than he has recently." It's like, bro, it was one fucking punch. It wasn't like the first time he fought TJ, he already had been dropped by a head kick in the second round, and then got caught. His chin got caught. All right, it happens. The second time, him and TJ literally went right hand for right hand, 3 punches in a row, and TJ's just landed better. You know what I mean? But Cody's hands were literally down and just threw wider punches. TJ's punches were straighter and just landed right on his chin. Okay, I get it. And then a Sunsau, it was literally a haymaker fest, and Cody fell. In the Sunsau fight, he fought a smart game plan. It was Dominic Cruz-esque. Cody was doing his shuffling his feet. He was pointing. At one point, he even said, "He's hurt," out loud, and the Sunsau made a face like, "No, I'm not." Then Cody dropped him with a shot behind the ear, and he waited in. He didn't, go Cody berserker style. So it seemed like a smarter game plan. And Matt he didn't change camps because he did a majority of his camp at Alpha Male again. He's just training with Mark Henry.
That's what I meant, more like for the striking aspect.
And I
also too, and everyone forgets it. Everyone leaves it out. That against Munoz was a big deal. That headbutt was there. Like that, even though you're not getting punched, that affects you. You're going blow for blow with TJ. Well, headbutt is still a fucking blow in the middle of a firefight. Like, that affects the outcome of the fight. I'm not saying that's why he lost, but he got hurt.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's gonna be a fucking exciting as fuck, and my heart's gonna be pounding. So
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, a couple of hot takes real quick before. So I think Shabazian's going to make a quick turnaround here and make it look easy against Hermanson. I think that Hermanson is great and all. I just think that he found his stride, not by luck, but right time, right place. Like good win over Jacare over 5 rounds. It was close. He could have gone either way. You know, you heel hook Kevin Gastelum. Great job. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like he's not as elite as the number next to his name is. And I think that Edmund Shabazian at such a young age with the amount of experience he has, I think that this is a bounce back spot for him. And I also think Ricardo Ramos going up against Bill Algeo, I think he's like, if he can put it together, man, I think Ramos is like kind of like Charles Oliveira, like that young, hungry guy with awesome jiu-jitsu and like really developing stand-up. It's just a matter of can he take the shots, you know? So I think that he's going to have a bounce back spot here. Another underdog I really like. And
he's had some vicious knockouts.
Yeah, he's got a couple spinning back fist knockouts, shit like that.
What about when he beat Zahabi? Wasn't that in the garden? We were there, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
That was crazy. And also Norma Dumont, I think, is going to beat the fuck out of Felicia Spencer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm calling it.
Interesting. What are the odds on that?
She's a plus 135.
Okay.
I would be hesitant with that fucking Hermanson pick, Mike. I don't trust. I know that you're saying like, oh, he has to have developed takedown defense because that's why he just lost. Like, I know it was a lot short of amount of time in kind of a completely different scenario. I'm already regretting this comparison, but we saw Kevin Holland get taken down repetitively in back-to-back fights, and he had zero change in between. I know it was a lot shorter notice, but I wouldn't just completely assume that he's going to stop Hermanson's takedowns. You know, and Hermanson, once he gets on the ground, bro, he's a problem. He's a big problem on the ground than Brunson is, and that's fact. Brunson definitely has the better takedowns, but on the ground, Hermanson's more of a threat to finish the fight.
Again, it's just recency bias. I think it's I honestly, like, Matt, I'm also playing the line. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the recency bias is like, okay, Jack Hermanson has good takedowns and good defense, good submissions, and then you got Edmund Shabazian, who basically fell apart against Derek Brunson. So when these narratives, that's the narrative that's going into this fight, and when that happens, I like to be the contrarian play because all the, you know, I wouldn't say scrubs, but like the casuals are out there just like, oh, Jack Hermanson's going to take him down and submit him because that's what happened in the last fight. Derek Brunson took him down and beat his ass. So if Edmund has a, Zahabi in his corner, right, Chris? Who's in his corner?
No, Edmund has Edmund
Taveri. Whatever. He has him in his corner. I trust him. I think he's
a retard.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I think he's going to be so fucking prepared for this bout that he knows that Jack's going to go for the takedowns because on the feet, I think Edmund's got him covered. I just think 3 rounds, I think everything's in his favor, and I'll take plus 135 on that.
I feel you. Another sketchy line is the Yan Xiaonan versus Carlos Esparza.
Bro,
what do you think?
I'm pretty sure Yan Xiaonan opened like a minus 200.
And she got bet way down. She's like only minus 120 now, and I totally understand why. Like, I think she should be the favorite, but I think that what going into this, right? So Yan Xiaonan, I made her my lock against Claudia Gadelha, I want to say. And because Claudia just, her MO is look amazing for 2 fucking rounds. She has the Aldo disease, you know what I mean? And Carlos Esparza could just use that wrestling and kind of just negate Yan. And that's like what kind of scares me about it. Like her as a favorite. It's like, I kind of want to make Yan my lock at that small of a line. It seems sweet, but I don't know. It just seems like a little sketchy.
I think another one of those scenarios where everyone's like, "Oh, Carl is going to take her down." It's like, we'll see. You know, I mean, I really hope not.
Carlos Esparza.
She's still doing the damn thing.
Still legit
to now.
Every time she wins, Mike texts the chat and it's like, "I hate Carlos Esparza."
It's either her or Angela Hill. I can't.
I like Carlos Esparza. I remember she won tough and then got the shit beat out of her by Joanna. But then I remember a while ago. I'm dating myself. This is a few years ago. She posted on her Instagram that she was selling her motorcycle because she needed to make ends meet. And I was like, what the fuck?
I remember you said that.
So now I'm like, does she? Is she still fighting for a paycheck? She's been in the game for a minute, but she's ranked 4th. I'm looking at it on the UFC website right now. She's ranked 4th, so I get she's still doing the damn thing.
Yeah, and if you think about it, she beat Marina Rodriguez, and look how fucking awesome she looked a couple of weeks ago. So it's man. Who knows?
I don't see it going too much further than 4.
Yeah, me neither. So, we'll see. So boys, I don't want to be this guy, but I do have to kind of bounce. Is there any like last thoughts you want to talk about before we head out?
No, just have a statement. Conor McGregor should not be favored over Charles Oliveira.
Oh, hold on, Matt. I got a question.
Yes.
Yeah,
Matt.
that's what Mike said on the website we use.
Matt, why do you call it an asteroid when it's outside the hemisphere, yet you call it a hemorrhoid when it's inside your ass?
I'm not getting off now because she's not in the podcast, but if you asked her that, I don't know what I would have done.
I did ask her.
Did you?
No.
This comes out. Oh my God, dude. Thank God we didn't ask that. I'm gonna ask Kale that though, see what he says. But yeah, boys. Another one in the books. Episode 65. Again, thank you to Elise and Kale. Fucking awesome. Kale, we gotta have on the show more. Elise will definitely be on again. That was her second time on, many more to come. Hopefully she gets that win. I'm sure I'm feeling real confident in her, and then on to the UFC, baby. Kale, make it happen, bro.
Let's get it. If you guys are still listening, like, comment, subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. I think we got a new one today because I did like a follow for a follow on Twitter. So fuck it.
Next, boys and girls. Thank you again to all 126 subscribers. And we're going up.
All right. See y'all next time.
Later, boys.